What's up, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of the Bronx Muchachos podcast, brought to you by 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Mark, and we got Danny.
What's good, everybody?
And we got Alex.
Evening, everybody.
Yo, everybody, you know the drill. Remember to rate, subscribe, like, review, give us all the 5 stars on Apple Podcast, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, all that stuff. Hit the like button on YouTube if you're watching it, and subscribe to the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And then also go to our Linktree page where you find out any and all deals that we have going on from any of our sponsors. It's link.tree/real Bronx Muchachos. So, fellas, we're here for the eulogy of the 2022 season. So overall, I want to start off on a positive note. Alex, I want you to tell me some of the bright spots from the season this past season. Some of the things that you were really excited about.
Most of my excitement was early in the beginning part of the season. Let's be real. Like, this team was just a team that we were all just happy. We saw the return of like Yankee baseball. That's what we saw coming up, but it is what it is. I mean, another good note was AL home run champion. We got 2 Golden Gloves. Like, we can't go wrong there. Like, we did pretty good. Like, it is what it is. We didn't get what we wanted, but it's been a week. I'm not gonna cry over it no more. I'm like, it is what it is. Like, move on.
You've set your shiva, and now you're moving on.
Exactly. I mean, unless this is Festivus.
We'll
have
Festivus later on.
I gotta put a stick in front of my house then. That's all I know.
I'm sure we're gonna have a Festivus at some point later on. Yeah, all right, Danny. What about you? What's some of the things you enjoyed this past season?
Well, Alex, first off, I'm still crying. Honestly, this is miserable. I hate this.
Oh, Mr. Positivity's crying. Get out of here. Go cry.
Yeah, this is
little
terrible.
Bee. Acting like a little bee. Man up.
Nah. This is terrible. This is so bad. I hate every second of this.
That's why you're in the Navy. Seamen crying all the time.
Danny finally is broken.
For real. Yeah. Now he's probably on the side like, let's fire Boone, let's fire Cashman, let's fire everybody. Now this is all season Danny. Now he's gonna be firing everybody.
Well, fire Cashman, yeah, but that's the difference. We'll talk about that later. So good parts of the season. Obviously, seeing the historic season that Judge put up every day, just day in, day out. One thing that stood out to me was, I think this is probably like my favorite home run this season when he hit the walk-off against Toronto, Jordan Romano, early in the season in April. And, the team's still finding itself. We're winning, and Toronto was this big, bad monster that we had to slay in order to win the AL East. And that first blow was huge. The homer for the number 60, when he hit 60 that game, that was amazing. That was one of the high points of the season. So in terms of moments, those definitely were the top 2 in my opinion. Coming behind that, winning the AL East in Toronto after Vlad was like, "Oh, this is my house," and his broken English, but it was good to win in Toronto. Take care of business. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Danny, it was nice though. At least he gave us the opportunity to celebrate in his house. He let us throw a party at his house. Like, come on, that's a class act right there. I gotta say.
Thanks, Vladdy. Appreciate it, man. But winning 99 games, ultimately coming up short in the playoffs, that's a different story. But the regular season was successful. And over the course of 162, this team was a pleasure to watch, with the exception of the last like 90 games or something like that. The first 70 being the best team in baseball, hands down. Not even no one could touch us the first 70 games. 52-18, absolutely ridiculous. We may not see anything like that for a while. So there was a lot of good this Yankee season. Unfortunately, most of it came in the regular season.
No, I hear you, man, and you're right. A lot of it. There's a lot of good things in the regular season, and I, I we all were hoping that would kind of translate and transfer over into the postseason. Dave, my brother, what are some of the positives and the good things that you saw that you thought about
Positive.
from the past season?
Um, honestly, man, all the positive happened from April till the last week of June, and Judge's home run chase was fun to watch. The first half of the season was just remarkable. It was a lot of fun. It didn't matter who they played, where they played, how they played. They just went and took care of business after that slow start and after that series in Detroit. Yeah, Nestor was the story of the first half of the season. Um, it's where I'm at with it. We all thought Nestor was going to win the Cy Young earlier in the year. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Time kind of caught up with him. The innings caught up with him. But yeah, I would say the season was where it was at.
Well, yeah, I think everyone hit a lot of nails on the head there. I mean, Dave oozing with positivity and happiness.
I was just about to say,
Dude, I'm
Dave,
sorry, I can't be positive. I'm trying here, but dude, the way it ended, it just took all that, what happened the first half, and just flushed it down the toilet. Like the way it ended, ruined it. I'm sorry to admit.
I got you, but you know what? There were some good things that came out of it. Like for the most part, there was a bounce back year from Labor.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of good things that
absolutely.
came out
That
of the
was
bullpen. We saw a
positive
lot
to
of good things
see.
out of. Yeah, definitely good things that were coming out of the bullpen. I mean, King was a revelation at that point, before the injury, and hopefully, all the reports are saying that he's on track for spring training, so he should be back to where he was. Clay Holmes was a revelation as well. He got hit up with the injury bug as well. We did see the beginnings of the next wave of Yankees coming up, which in Peraza and more specifically Cabrera. He played very well. I mean, Peraza played well in the short stints that that they decided that it was in the best interest to play him. But that's another day for that one. But I think that there was a lot of good stepping stones to do. Was there problems? Yeah, of course, there's always problems. But I mean, even Harrison Bader, everyone was trashing that trade. Now everyone's sitting there going, Jordan Montgomery, who's that again? Like there were some positives that came out, and even in you got to find the silver lining, and that's the silver lining is that there's a nucleus that is still here, with or without Judge. There's a nucleus that can push forward going into the next season. But I'm gonna swing this back to Davey Boy for Dave. Lay it on us. Tell me all. Unleash the hate.
Oh,
Tell me all
God.
all the negatives.
I'm gonna
From
go
this
make some.
past season.
I'm gonna go make some steak right now. Barbecue. This is gonna be a while.
We're gonna be here all night listening to Dave. It's
I'll
gonna
probably
be
still
a
be going.
laundry list.
Look, dude.
3 minutes worth of
we've.
hate.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'm lagging here, so you're gonna catch everything I'm saying like 10 seconds after I say it. So hold on. From All-Star game forward was a hot mess. I mean, you can't control injuries. Got it. Like Chad Green was finally starting to figure it out, blew his elbow. They bring up Luis Hill. He throws one game? His next start, or his bullpen after that, blows his elbow out.
He blew his elbow in the minor leagues, and actually, what
Then
the second inning of a start.
King goes down. Who was the fireman slash closer for, and it was just like after another.
All right, Dave's having a little bit of technical problems, so maybe for everyone else, we can save a half an hour of the ugly, the bad and the ugly at the same time. So we'll go to Mr. Go to Mr. Smiles, Mr. Positivity, Danny.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Obviously, the second, like Dave was right, the second half. Well, specifically, August 10 and 18, the worst month we've had since 1991. Like it, like can't get any worse than that. That was absolutely miserable to sit through every day. Going from the team that couldn't be beat to the team that was, kind of like the Pittsburgh Pirates or Miami Marlins, or name every bad ball club we can name over the past, 20 years. That team, uh, this team behaved like those teams in August. So that was terrible. Like it was just so bad. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge, 10 wins would have been a stretch. So he kept us. He single handedly kept us in that race. Well, for the AL East. What else was bad? The injuries. The injuries cost us a lot, especially in the postseason. Not having Benny Blanco, not having DJ to lengthen this lineup, with all that pressure coming on to Judge, Rizzo, Stanton. If we had DJ and Benintendi and Harrison Bader performing like he did, who knows where we'd be right now? Maybe we'd be playing in this game in the World Series, but that was just really disappointing. Frankie Montas, disappointing. Second half, Clay Holmes, disappointing. So they're as much good as there was within those first 70 games in that first half, and overall as the season, those things uh, really left a mark. Mike King going down with with the gut wrenching injury, having him extends that bullpen, and has to put so much pressure on Clay Holmes to close games, because you could have went to Mike King to close, or Johnny Loizaga. There would have been other options. So I think the whole bad part of it was injuries. And then, listen, Giancarlo hit like 170 in the second half. And he was not the same guy after his injury. Rizzo was not the same guy after his injury. So it just, all that combined.
When it comes down to Rizzo, though, like Danny, when it comes down to Rizzo, like in a way, like Rizzo was like an Oreo cookie. He was great on both halves, but he wasn't great in the middle. It was like that middle part of the season. He wasn't really that great. It was on the both ends for Rizzo. And yeah, I'll give it to you on when it comes to John Carlos. Like after that injury, like he wasn't the same. Like I'm happy he got back in gear and something snapped in, maybe that cold weather or whatever, it got into his lungs and he just started playing better baseball at the very, very end. But it took a minute. It took a minute. But I think one of the really bads, in my opinion, isn't the team itself, it's from management. It took them way too long to pull the cord on our minor league players and bringing minor league players in to seeing what could happen. They waited until September. Let's be real. They realistically waited till September to start all that kind of stuff up. When after the trade deadline happened, they would have saw what they had. They saw their chess pieces. Basically, they could have been doing that work then, especially since they were already going through the injury bug at that point anyway. That we could have had Volpe up, we could have had Cabrera up. They could have been doing what they had to do. They could have been checking it out, seeing it. And when we got into playoffs, they're not like, oh my gosh, greenhorns all the way, that they don't know anything. Where okay, they've been playing in the professional level, not the minor level, and they actually have a sense and a better timing of how to bat, timing in fielding position. Like, let's be real, that when Cabrera was in left field, I believe he would have never had that mistake in the playoffs. Like, we had playoff mistakes going on. Remember that. Like, we would not have had those mistakes going on if he would have been in the position, or at least playing in those positions more throughout the season.
Cabrera is
Well,
a very is definitely a utility guy. So, and remember this too, Alex. Like, he hardly ever got any outfield time in the minors.
But that's why I'm saying, if he would have been in the ball club at the time, at least when it didn't count realistically, because it counts in the playoffs, but it doesn't count in the regular season. So if he would have been in there and had 20 starts at least, let's say that he would have had a little better understanding what he has to do.
Cabrera was pretty much a starter from when they brought him up in early August. Peraza was the one that they really crapped the bed on. They
fumbled the bag, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, they had their own, from all the reports that are out there. They had a lot of internal talks. They had a lot of internal discussions, and saw how IKF wasn't handling and couldn't handle shortstop. And they brought him up, and then they sat him, and he got 18 games. I mean, he batted 300 with the home run and whatever RBIs, but it was too inconsistent. And you saw that inconsistency in the postseason, where out of 9 games, IKF was on the bench, or wasn't starting at shortstop for 4 of them, which that's one of your main positions, and you have a rotating door at one point in the LCS. You have a rotating door first 3 games of goes IKF, Peraza, then Cabrera, then back to IKF. You can't win. You can't win with that. And something like that, I mean, going kind of tipping back to what you were just saying before, how it was management. It's from the front office, Randy Levine, starting with Randy Levine all the way down to Boone. They all got to take their hits on that, and Aaron Boone was on the Michael Kay show today, and a couple of things that he was talking about, which I jotted down, was, he was asked, point blank asked, he goes, "Oh, you're the guy that's got to keep all the noise out of the clubhouse. Do you hear the noise?" And he was sitting there telling everyone how he's oblivious to what the fans are saying, and how the fans are reacting to all the moves he was making, and how the team was playing. And and I could see that that's a good thing to have, to keep everyone together. But the next couple things he said were, I don't know. And the first thing he said is that that the Yankees metrics still believe that IKF is a viable shortstop, and he's still a viable shortstop to start the season next year, with Peraza on deck, with Volpe in the wings as well. And then the other thing was that he thinks that Josh Donaldson can be a starting third baseman next season, and that he's still a powerhouse offensively. I just want to let that sit in for a second, because instead of going off and ripping Boone for saying something like this,
I'm not ripping him. I'm actually gonna say it's a good thing.
I was gonna say I like what he said, because it's trying to at least get some trade value up for those two.
Exactly what I was gonna say. It's like, maybe not so much IKF, because I am still into the belief throwing IKF at third will be a better move, but at least it helps out in the Donaldson area. I think it definitely helps out, so that it opens up for teams that could possibly need a third baseman. It opens up the trade negotiation talk. And I mean, it's going to be a hard contract, because it's still another 25, so it's going to be hard. But maybe if we bite the bullet and let's say the Yankees take 16 out of it, and have the other team take the other 9, someone will want to bite on that a lot easier.
Well, they're going to take, whatever's going to do is got to not only bite that, but they're going to have to bite another $8 million for the buyout that they're going to have to give them in the at the end of the season.
But that's the reason why the Yankees will take, let's say, 16, and then that way,
I guess
it's an even. No one's getting killed at the end of the day.
We all know that Aaron Boone is not going to publicly rip his guy. Both of them are currently on the roster, so
No
as
one's saying he
fans,
should.
No. I know, but there's people out there that believe that. There's people on this podcast that listen. I'm sure there's people out there that want to hear Aaron Boone say Josh Donaldson is a waste of time. Brian Cashman, you suck. You should have not given me Josh Donaldson. IKF, you're terrible. No, nah, bro. Aaron Boone is not going to say things like that.
That's behind. That's stuff you got to do behind closed doors. You don't. Yeah, you don't let you don't let everyone see what's happening in the kitchen. Like the kitchen has a closed door for a reason. We're in the restaurant eating. Let the chefs do what they're doing. Like I don't want to see two cooks fighting with each other over how to make a pasta. Nah, that's on them.
Right. But back to your point, Alex, which was I thought a really good point about not starting Peraza and him essentially being a non-player come to playoffs. We all saw what was going on with IKF. Like we saw it from day one. Well, Mark did. I want to give him some.
Oh no.
leeway,
Mark was the fortune teller of that one. He saw the crystal ball, the trade. He's like, this is horrible. He hated it since
it's not gonna work.
Nope, he hated it.
Dave was ringing the bell on Peraza in the off season, so we're ahead of the game in terms of this and how we're thinking about it, which is why we're all a little bit frustrated that Peraza did not get that opportunity. He did not get a fair shake, and I feel like that was a huge mistake. Look at what Houston did with Jeremy Pena. Yes, he's 3 years older, but what did Cashman say about Peraza? He's a Gold Glove type of dude, but guess who just won a Gold Glove for Houston playing shortstop as a rookie? Jeremy Pena. How come we couldn't follow the same type of format? They let Carlos Correa go, and they trusted a guy to maintain that position, and the Yankees didn't have the wherewithal to do that. So if you believe the dude's a Gold Glover, like let him show out. And we saw what he. Peraza is nasty with the glove. He's just so smooth. He's a natural shortstop.
Exactly.
And you just see it with his hands. And the way he moves.
The country saw what he had in the series. Let's be real.
Yeah,
like that when that series came up, like it was night and day when you had him out there. It's like, oh my gosh, making defensive plays that we did all season long from IKF. Like IKF had a whole season to do one of those type of plays. Did zero of them. He hardly got the ball to Rizzo, and he was in bad. Him and Glaber were never synced up from all season long. They would both of them be making horrible mistakes that they should not be doing to each other with a person that's been playing second base and a person that could be playing third. I'm shortstop, my bad, not third base. But like, let's be real, they're making horrible mistakes there. Like their sync was not there.
I didn't see that. I
think one of the main things Alex is referring to is that missed throw.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. But think about it. If they were in sync all season long, that would have never even happened then because they would have been perfect for a work.
I think that was more so. I think that was more so a product of IKF not being in the moment. Like, first off, when you come into the bag as a shortstop, you're there. You're straddling the bag because you don't know where the ball's going to go. You don't anticipate that the ball's going to be on the inside or the outside. You're there in the middle of the bag, ready for any throw. So IKF standing to one part of the bag in a situation like this, yes, Pena could run. And I think that's who hit the ball. Pena could run. Pena. So he was trying to get the best position to fire that off. But, bro, like, you got to catch the ball first. You need at least one out. Anyway.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
that's don't worry, that team also made a goof up in the World Series too. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, that's done. So, not giving Peraza a fair shake, I think was a huge mistake.
Hey, Dave, to your whole comment that you gave us in the thing, one very very simple answer, buddy. Trade bait. That's why we got to make the trade bait look good.
Yeah, 100%.
But speaking of another person not getting a fair shake was Esteban Florio. They would bring him up for a little bit and then send him right back down. He didn't get the consistent at bats when there was somebody else, when there was problems, when there was injury. The injury bug would hit us hard. When they had Judge in center, we had to play Judge in center field. When you have Esteban Florio, and I'm not saying he's the next Bernie Williams or anything like that, but he's a natural center fielder, and you could have saved Aaron Judge a lot more going forward. You could have kept him in right field. You could have let him run a little bit at DH, save his legs, but they chose not to do that move.
And another mistake they did was they gave Marwin Gonzalez way too many opportunities throughout the season to do something that he wasn't going to do. Like, I am so happy I'm not going to see him as a Yankee next year.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
He's gone. I don't know where he's going. I don't know where he's going. He could go to Alaska for all I care, but he's gone.
Well, don't worry. You're just foreshadowing another segment we got going on here. But
I know
our brother in arms, Dave is back. So Dave, you were. Yeah, we can hear you.
You guys hear me?
I can even see you doing well too.
That's a good thing. Let me just jump in on this real quick, man, because Paul Woodard and I from Prospects 1500 were texting back and forth about the Boone appearance on the Michael Kay show today. I don't know where this organization's head is at. Like, how can you sit there and say that Josh Donaldson is an offensive force? The guy was 3 for 13 in the postseason. What are you watching? Like, what are you looking at?
Alex, he missed our part of the conversation about that. Dave, there's no way Boone's going to trash a player on his team. 1 and 2. He's got to build up trade bait for him. That was the mandate right there. He's got to build up some sort of trade.
Man, but I get it, dude. But you really think people like wait?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Dave,
you just need one. You just need one sucker to take him. That's it. You just need one sucker.
Dave. It's like fantasy sports, okay? It's like fantasy baseball, fantasy football, whatever. You know your team. You know your team is trash, but you know what? You got this guy over here that wants a player from your team. You're like, oh, you're going to give me your good player for my trash player? I'll take it. Give me. That's what it is. Understand? It's all about. It's all a business. You got to make your ugly ducklings look like swans.
Well, there's no polish on this earth that's going to make that shine.
Hey man,
but, okay.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now, Dave. I would not be surprised. I already told everybody. I'm going to tell you now since you weren't here. I will not be surprised if they could trade him away and do 16. They pay 16, and whatever other team pays the rest of his contract out. I can see that going out. Like, it's a very decent trade that to make it negotiable. Like, that could happen.
And also,
getting back
Josh
to
Donaldson's
where I was
value
before.
Go ahead, Dan.
Is with the glove.
Go ahead, Dan.
It's with the glove. The fact that he wasn't a Gold Glover this year is absolutely ridiculous. He led all of the American League third basemen in defensive runs saved and outs above average. And you put Ramon Urias over there to win a Gold. Get out of here. That's ridiculous. Anyway, that's my. I will die on that. The fact that Josh Donaldson was not a Gold. We saw what he did every day at third. It was Gold Glove, hands down. He sucked with the bat, and that was really disappointing. That was probably the most disappointing aspect of this deal.
Getting back to a low point of the season too, this analytics department needs an overhaul because there's no. What I have a hard time understanding is what are the Phillies analytics team looking at that the Yankees analytics team couldn't figure out?
Bro, it's Philly. They drinking while they're like they got all that alcohol ready. They're like, I don't care. Let's just do it.
What the Phillies did was they were smart. They turned around. They signed one of the best players in his youth, in Bryce Harper, who should have been patrolling somewhere in the outfield for New York. Brian Cashman turned around and maybe
first baseman.
Or first base, you're right. But let's put it this way. Brian Cashman's taking the heat for not going after him. We don't know if Hal turned around and said, we can't afford him, don't bother going after him. But Brian Cashman's doing what he's got to do, which is being the shield for Hal Steinbrenner, and he's taking the bullets. But Brian Cashman has already said he was never on our radar. We never went after him. That was someone he should have gone after. I like John Carlos Stanton a lot. I think that he provides a lot of power and is good at bats. And when they decide to put him in the field, he plays a lot better. But
Mhm.
if we have a choice of turning around, going for, and there was the choice at that point. You could have made the trade for Stanton, or you could have signed Bryce Harper. My money was always on getting Bryce Harper because that was a better move in totality. Everything about having Bryce Harper on this team made sense from that day, from every day since then. It's just crazy that they stayed away from so many left-handed bats. I mean, that was the left-handed bat that was needed because that would have provided all the protection for Judge, even slotting him in the middle of him, Stanton. You go Judge, Harper, Stanton. Right there is a you take murderers, all the murderers row teams that we've had. That right there would be nasty because then Bryce Harper would be going for 50 to 60 home runs a year with pulling the ball down 314 feet down. And there's nobody in the world that can tell me otherwise. And he could play center field, and he could play left field, and he could play first base, and he could play right field.
And,
So, I mean,
and he,
it
and
was
he
a
could
wrap.
find, and he could notice when a pitcher is tipping the pitches. Let's be real. Come on.
And at this point, and by the time you have him now he's coming into his own. Now he's fully feeling himself. Now he knows exactly what type of player he is, and he's a leader of the team.
Brian Cashman deserves to lose his job for losing out on Bryce Harper. Like, the 6 outfielders that we had, Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar, Aaron
He's not even a
Hicks,
real outfielder.
I think Ellsbury at the time, Brett Gardner, and one other guy.
Your buddy Aaron
Who
Hicks.
cares? Aaron Hicks. Who cares? Bro, move all those dudes for Bryce Harper. Like, you're the GM.
You're forgetting
of the
Brett Gardner
Yankees.
too.
He said Brett
Gardner. Oh, I said Brett. Okay. You're the GM of the Yankees. And you're saying, oh, because we have 6 mediocre to below average outfielders, we can't get Bryce Harper? Bro, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Like, I don't care what mandate George Hal put on him. It's unacceptable. Like, in every offseason since then, he's just dropped the ball. This IKF Donaldson trade, I was a big proponent of it because of the defense, and to a certain extent I am. But overall, the Yankees are not better because of it. They're not World Series champions because of it. You know, the only thing he's done good is get Garrett Cole, and he better sign Aaron Judge this year, bro. What if he doesn't? Where do we go from here? Like, Brian Cashman needs to move on. He needs to go somewhere else. He needs to get promoted and not touch, anything baseball moves wise anymore because his time is done. He's had his time. He's had 20 years to get something done.
Danny, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but tomorrow at 12 there will be a press conference, and guess what? He is at the press conference. He's already been said that he's going to be at the press conference. That means he has his job. Let's just be real. The man still has a job. He's not fired as much as we want it.
I don't listen. As much as we're all sitting here, I don't think he should be fired, but I don't think he needs to be the main guy at the GM post. I think that he needs to be bumped up. Let someone younger come in with a new thought. Personally, I would bump him up, and then I would go directly over to the Dodgers and the Rays, and try to get their top lieutenants in their assistant GMs, and interview those guys, and don't even bother anybody else. I want from the Dodgers, and I want from the Rays. That's who I want.
Mike Fisher needs to go too. That's all I gotta say.
Oh well, he's needed to go for years, and he's still there. But he's not going. So when Cashman gets bumped up, then they could get rid of him. But speaking of a lot of things that the fans want and don't want. Let's see something that the fans were doing especially in the postseason, where they were booing the players, especially Judge. And there's a dichotomy of old school players like a Jeter that we all grew up with versus the new age players now that kind of are, I don't want to say softer, but they're more into their feelings. Need to be coddled a little bit more. So there's a report that was out there that a lot of Yankees were pissed off about the fact that they were getting booed some of them, possibly not even wanting to be around anymore because of the booing. Judge, I've heard the names Judge being thrown out there, Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, even Sevy. Sevy's been pissed with the Yankees this season, especially in the second half. And even at Boone. But what do you guys take? Dave, I'll go with you first. The take on all this with the Yankees, the fans booing the Yankees, and then the players turning around and getting into their feelings about it all.
I have no issue with the fans booing. This anger has been building up for 13 years now, and it's finally hit its boiling point. Like, you can only lose and be unsuccessful for so long before people just lose it. You know what I mean? It's not like, and especially within the last 6 seasons. The last 6 seasons have been an absolute train wreck. It's like take one step forward and then you take 10 backwards. So I don't have a problem with it. The fans, us fans, we're the ones buying the season tickets. We're the ones going to games. We're the ones paying $11 to $14 for a beer. 12.
We're the ones buying $50 hats online.
We're the ones buying, steak sandwiches the size of a hockey puck. We have that right. Like Michael Kay and David Cohen have said, we have the right to boo. Now, the fans that are saying that it's wrong, sorry, I don't want to see my team get their faces kicked in on the field anymore. I'm done with it. I'm over it. And it's just becoming, and I feel like these fans are saying, don't boo. They're accepting mediocrity. That's not what the New York Yankees stand for. They do not stand for mediocrity. This winning legacy goes all the way back to 1923 when they won their first championship. This is just like, if this sits well with fans, then they need to go find another team to root for, in my opinion. And as far as the players need to own it. Players need to go out and perform. I get it. They're human. They're not robots. Got it. But to just stand there with the bat on your shoulder and let a 90-mile-an-hour pitch go right down the pipe and then swing at something low and away in the dirt 4 inches off the plate to strike out it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable all around. And that's when I come back to the analytics thing, where I think there's a disconnect between the analytics department and the coaches on the field. That's just how I feel about it. If the players can't handle it, man, you can't handle New York. You can't handle getting booed, being held accountable, then go play somewhere else. Get me 26 guys in here that can handle the spotlight and can handle New York and can handle the pressure and want to handle the pressure like Jeter, Mo, and O'Neal and all those guys did back in the 90s to the early 2000s. They owned it when they didn't win. And that's what this team needs to start doing. And Aaron Judge even addressed it in his press conference after the game. Yeah, we didn't play well. Like, I can tell it's not sitting well with him. But, these other guys want to be soft and whatever. Bye.
Point well taken. Alex, what about you? What are your thoughts about this?
Tired of it.
And especially with this kind of talking about not just the booing, but then going to the other extreme of some of the guys not wanting to stick around anymore too.
Mm-hmm. I got you. So into the area of booing, they should understand why the fans were booing. Let's be real. We were going against Houston, and we couldn't even get one measly win. If it would have been game 5 and not game 4, you know what? The team probably would have booed because they probably would have been a more competitive team. Okay, showing a little bit more grit. Okay, at least maybe winning one game. Okay, but they didn't. So the frustration of losing to Houston, the frustration of not making it to the World Series again, the frustration of, oh my gosh, look what we did in the first half of the season compared to the second half of the season. It all piled up. It's like, once the season kicks in, next season kicks in next year, most of this stuff, we're going to probably be like, okay, let's move on. It's a new season. But like right now, the way we got to look at it is like, bro, you are not doing what you need to do in the playoffs. This is when most Yankee fans wake up, because throughout the regular season, most Yankee fans, okay, that say they're fans, let's be real, they're doing their own life. They're sleeping. They're going out. They're doing whatever. They're not watching every single game like we all are. Okay. Us four know what's going on. Us four see the problems. But the average Joe is not seeing it. So he or she is turning on their TV in October to watch October Yankee baseball, and they're not getting October Yankee baseball, that they're not winning a game. So yes, that's why they're going to boo. You're not getting the average person at that stadium during October. You're getting the person that's working in Manhattan making multi-million dollars because they could afford that ticket. Okay, so they haven't been watching the game all season long. So what are they going to do? They're going to boo. But then you're gonna have maybe the handful of people that are bleacher creatures out there that they understand the team, and they're gonna boo a little bit. They're not gonna be like, you know what, whatever. They're gonna walk out there because they know the season's over. But you're gonna have like, oh, oh my gosh, it's playoff baseball. Let me put on my jersey that I haven't seen since last October to go to the game and buy my $2,000, $3,000 ticket to be cold in Yankee Stadium. That's what happened, and those people are the ones who got upset. Okay, now for the players being upset about being booed, they have no right. They have no right to be upset because when you underperform in the playoffs, you're going, especially in New York, you are going to get booed. Like Mets get booed, Knicks get booed, Yankees get booed at times, Jets get booed, Giants get booed, Islanders get booed. They all get booed. When they're underperforming in New York, you're going to get booed. It comes with the territory. If you don't have the skin thick enough for it, well, I'm sorry. That's on you. That's not on me. If you couldn't handle that, don't let the door hit you with the good Lord split you. That's all I can say. That's all I can tell you. How about you, Danny? What you got?
Facts. Like it's gonna be hard to follow both you guys because you guys made really good points. I'm not a booer. I don't boo. I don't believe in it. That's just not something that I do. I understand the fans that do boo. I get it. I think I tweeted this from our page, from the Bronx Muchachos page on Twitter. Like of course they got booed. Like we got swept in the ALCS. Like we've lost to this team now 4 straight times we faced them. Like that was a abysmal performance on the field for 4 games. Like it was not. I mean, it was competitive, but we lost at each and every step. So what's there to cheer about? What's there to cheer about? We had a couple different leads in Game 4. A couple. It wasn't like one. Like we had opportunities to win that game, and we didn't. And it those players that feel a certain type of way about getting booed, yeah, bro, like it's not for you. You can't handle the pinstripes. They're too heavy for you. They're dragging you down. You're gonna get buried 6 feet under with these pinstripes on.
Mm-hmm.
You could play in Arizona and get cheered on for taking a walk in the 7th inning when you're down by 10. So you could do that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You could go somewhere else. Go to St. Louis where they cheer all their guys. They never boo anybody.
Go to
right?
Arizona.
Yeah, go somewhere else. But if you're here in the Bronx, the expectation here is World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Bottom line, it comes with the territory.
Hey,
Derek
Danny,
Jeter,
I got it.
our captain, he got booed.
Mm-hmm.
Mariano, he got booed. Tino Martinez, he got booed. Paul O'Neill, the Warrior, he got booed because they weren't performing. If you're in the Bronx, you're not performing.
And Rivera blew some pretty big games.
Hey, Danny, I gotta say one thing though. At least we gotta be happy that they're not like at Milwaukee where the beers are cheap or something like that. Okay, they gotta pay a lot more money to get drunk, so that way since they gotta pay so much money to get drunk over there, they weren't at least that bad then.
Right? Jeez.
Oh wait a minute,
I don't know, paying $14 for Bud Light, man.
Wait a minute, it was multimillionaires. They could afford it. Never mind.
Never overpay for Bud Light, man.
Tough.
Even though they were probably overpaying for like, a freaking like a Chardonnay.
Yeah, man.
2-ounce pour for $15.
15, 20, something like that. Who knows? Yeah. Oh my gosh. How about you, Mark? What you got?
All right, Hefe, what you got?
There's not much I can say. I mean, it's all been said before. I mean, being the gray-haired elder statesman of this group here, I vividly remember the '90s. Even the early '90s. Were the guys back then built different, but they were also brought up different. People now, a lot of people are. It's the way the times are. Social media, things like that. People are a little bit softer. They're more into their feelings. They can't do this, can't do that. They think, everybody's against them or whatnot. But my problem was I don't care if you boo. If you're allowed to boo, you pay your ticket. You can boo anybody you want on the field. You can sit, as long as you don't cross the line, don't go throwing crap at people. Don't go running onto the field trying to beat a player up. I don't care what you do. You're in the stands. You paid for that seat. You got your voice. Go for it. At least at that point, you're better than all these other people who type behind, on Twitter or whatever, hide behind the keyboard and a screen. But my thing is that I don't like to hear all the noise that comes out. Was that people not wanting some of these guys not wanting to be around the team anymore because of the booing? You had it was, and that was kind of something that was happening from earlier in the season with like going back to one of our favorite guys, Joey Gallo. Like he was getting booed, and the players couldn't understand it, and they I guess they understood that he was getting booed because he wasn't performing, but the relentlessness of it, what they couldn't get behind, and I think that's the problem. And then the relentlessness of booing Judge because he grounded out for the final out, and that he didn't perform in the postseason. That Sevy didn't like the fact that Aaron Boone was making these moves, not bringing Clay Holmes in at one point, sitting there telling everyone he's our closer. I don't understand why he's not in there. Taking Garrett Cole out in Game 3. If there's a problem, you don't want to be here. Danny, you said it best. The pinstripes are heavy. The door's right there, man. Judge doesn't want to be here. That's cool. Rizzo doesn't want to be here. That's cool. I wish they both stay. But if your heart's not there, then your heart's not there. And I can't. I don't want someone to be here on this team if they don't want to be here. Because if you have to be part of the project, and soccer terms, that people have a sporting project, and what they do is they put a team together, saying this is the project we're going to have, and we're going to base it on X, Y, and Z, and this is what we're going to do. If Judge wants to be here, he's going to be the main part, and I will go out on a limb and say that he will be, if he resigns with the Yankees, he's going to be the captain of the Yankees. That is, I can't see anything else being done otherwise. But if he wants to go back to California, wants to go to San Francisco Giants, every other pundit out there is sitting there saying the same thing. He might want to go back there, but will the Giants turn around and provide him a team that will make it to the postseason and will be in contention every year in, year out? And the answer to that is a resounding no.
No,
they will not.
Like he has to deal with they're in a division that and all everything. Like they're going to deal with the Dodgers. They're going to have to deal with the Padres. They're not going to be in contention every year. They're not going to be in the playoffs every year. Where unlike being in the Yankees, the chances of being in the playoffs every year are way better. Let's be real. What last time we weren't in the playoffs was like 16. Like, and then when was the last time before then? Like, come on,
hold on,
14.
But you know what I mean. Like,
hold on,
I know.
one second. They went to the postseason last year. And
not
Alex,
this
don't
year.
forget this too. Next year, the schedule is all 30 teams play each other. So you're not playing the Dodgers 19 times a season. You're not playing the Padres 19. You're not playing your own division opponents 19 times a year anymore.
You're right,
it's all spread out.
Yeah, but you're still playing. But you still have to beat the Padres, and still have to beat the Dodgers, and Dodgers are still going to spend money, and the Padres are still spending money, even with their free
And I get
agents.
that.
Like the
Those two teams
are
right now are ahead. Those two teams right now are ahead of the Giants, and the Giants are losing a bunch of guys. They're losing Longoria. They're losing Crawford. Rendon isn't going to be there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
What I'm saying is that players might want to go and play in San Francisco for pennies just to play with Aaron Judge. That's what I'm getting at.
No, okay, and that's what happened with Barry Bonds when Barry Bonds was there. Oh, everybody flocked out to go play. No one flocked out to play with Barry. Okay, Barry got lucky when what he got. Okay, Barry Bonds was the best player in baseball, and we did not have everyone. I'm gonna go play with Barry Bonds. No one cared. No one batted an eye. They were going for teams that were consistently in the playoffs. They were going for Yankees. They were going for Boston. Those were the teams that they were going for.
Yeah, we went completely off the rails on this one. But
I'm sorry.
I get
sorry.
what you're saying, Dave. I get where it's coming from, but I think the bottom line with like an Aaron Judge is that where he's going to go is going to be based for himself, and then where whoever else comes around. But I think speaking of Aaron Judge and speaking of Rizzo can opt out of his contract. We have 10 Yankees that are currently right now free that will be free agents at the end of the World Series. So I'm going to give out names to everybody, to all of us, and I want everyone to say where they think that person will be. Wholeheartedly, what your true belief is going to be. You can give, if you think that there's a number of years and a dollar sign behind it, go for it. But we can go down the list. So since we're talking Judge here, Alex, where do you think he's going?
Initially Yankees, if not a West Coast team. Like I don't know what West Coast team, but a West Coast team.
Danny, what about you, brother?
He's coming back, staying home. 8 years, $330 million.
Lock it in.
He's gonna be the captain. Yeah, let's do it. 8 to 9 years. That's what it's gonna take.
Okay, Dave, we're talking. I know you've been having a little internet problem, but we're talking about the 10 Yankees that are going to be free agents. So, Judge, where do you think?
Okay.
Where do you think he's going? If you got years and numbers, go for it.
I say he goes to San Francisco for 10 years and $400 million.
Oh,
that's a big number. So,
okay,
I want you guys to hear this. These are the teams that everyone believes are going to be in, or at least talk to Judge in some shape or form. Not as big as the other teams. Obviously, the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
The rumors are the Cubs are in for him. The Giants, the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Mets, and the Red Sox. Those are the teams that are going to be supposedly going to be bidding for his services.
He's not going to go to the Red Sox because if he didn't like the booing from the Yankees stadium, he's definitely not going to like the booing from Fenway Park because they boo every other day.
He's not going to go to the Mets because there is a unwritten rule between Stevie Cohen and Hal Steinbrenner. Hal was one of Steve Cohen's big proponents of getting the Mets and getting the votes to become the new Mets owner. Steve Cohen's not going to step on the toes of Brian Cashman right now. Rangers, I don't see that. I don't see the Rangers happening. I don't see the Cubs happening. They're kind of those two teams are in flux.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers makes a lot of sense for me, but
didn't word come out that Mookie said that he'll go to the infield, right?
That's what I was going with. The Dodgers make a lot of sense because Dodgers have got a lot of money coming off the books as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the Dodgers making that play, but I think in the end it's going to be one of three teams: Yankees, Giants, or Dodgers. I think he stays at home. And that might just be the homer in me. I can't unless something really breaks down. I can't see him leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's the next name?
I mean, I want him to stay, but I guess we'll just have to hold on and.
That's what we all want.
Find out.
We could exactly.
Dave, I think those numbers are really close, though. I think that would do it. That would lock him in anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't know if the Yankees go that high.
If he stays,
he wants the Trout number of 36 mil a year or 30, going past that. So
36, 37 at least, yeah.
The highest.
Yeah, so I mean, whoever gets that number is there going.
The highest I think Hal goes with him is 8 years at 295. I think that's where the Yankees are gonna stop.
That's even a stretch when it comes to Yankees. Like for 8 years, like it's gonna be hard. But if we get it, we get it. But if not, I could totally see him saying F it and going over to San Fran and getting as much money as he can if that's what they gave him.
I think
If
it's. I think it comes down to the AAV. I think if like San Francisco gives him 10 for 400, but the Yankees give him 8 for whatever an AAV of 41 is or something like that. Lesser
Yeah,
use but
330.
higher AAV. I think he's going to take that.
Mhm.
So the next name on the list
Next.
is everyone's favorite, Aroldis Chapman. We're going to swing it the other way. Davey, we're going to give it to Dave first.
Miami Marlins, 2 years, $20 million.
I was going to say Miami one for 10 million. So that's where I was going. Alex, your turn.
Chapman, 10 years for the Savannah Bananas.
Dude, I want to go. Dude, when they come to my neck of the woods, I want to go see. I'm gonna go to that game.
Yeah.
No, okay, but no, realistically, nah. Yeah, Miami. That's the only thing I can see him going to. He'll be home. He'll be relaxing. He could have some Banco Biste every day he wants. He'll be okay.
Hey, hold on 1 second. At least
My-
the Marlins don't have to. The Marlins don't have to worry about one thing: him showing up for important games. So they'd be straight.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's very
Chapman
true.
will get what he always wanted. Never have to save in a critical situation. He can sit in that bullpen all day long. Like, come on, man.
I'm gonna go 1 year, $8 million, heavy incentive laden, like 250 for like 20 saves, like another 250 for appearances, and being an all-star, stuff like that. So
Hey,
but-
Danny, here's another 250 for just shaking hands with the babies.
yeah, exactly. Don't get in trouble. Show up to the team bus and team plane. All right,
Man, if he goes to Miami, he's gonna get in trouble. I'm telling you that right now.
man.
If he goes there, he lives there.
No. That's the reason why.
He already shot up his
He'll be in
garage.
trouble.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got to just take his guns away from
He
him.
already shot up his garage.
All right,
At least he didn't do a plexico burrs and shoot his foot.
I got a funny story. I got a funny story about that. I'll tell you guys that off air.
All fair stories.
All right, so next guy, Zach Britton. Danny, go for it.
The first team that popped into my head, Baltimore. A homecoming for Zach Britton. 1 year, $3 million for Zach Britton coming off Tommy John. That'll be cool for him. That'll be cool for Baltimore.
Pittsburgh.
Dave.
Boston Red Sox.
Oh,
Ooh.
you're right. Get that name out of your mouth. Phil.
1 year, 15 million.
No, he doesn't do that next.
Man,
He does that the
15.
year after. He does that the year after. He goes over there. He goes 1 year at Pittsburgh and then goes over there. he needs a bounce back season. Then he goes over to Boston.
I got two teams. I got Arizona just because they'll pay him. I got Seattle also because they need some bullpen help.
Mhm.
All right. Danny's favorite player next, Chad Green. Alex, you're up first.
Relaxing in a farm somewhere, doing nothing. Arizona.
Danny.
I say he goes back to Detroit. They need
Dave.
bullpen help.
Well, he's still recovering from Tommy John, so chances of him being ready for spring training probably slim. I think the Yankees bring him back on a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. I don't see them giving up on him just yet.
I say the Rays.
Oh, that's a good call too.
Mm.
They would love him.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do some
that.
work. They'll do some work with him too.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't like that at all because he's gonna come back and he's just gonna shove. Because Chad Green's got great stuff.
He just couldn't use it. He fell in love with that curveball too much, man.
Yeah, interesting.
All right,
I like that call.
Davey boy, this one's for you. You start this one off. Jamison Tyone.
Oof. I think he stays with the Yankees. I think he signs a 3 years, 30 million.
Danny?
Texas Rangers. They need pitching. He's from Houston. Texas boy going home. Give him a big time deal, so something outrageous that no one else is going to give him. Like a 4-year deal for like 55, 60 million.
Alex?
I agree. I agree with Danny on that one. That's a good one. That's actually a really good pick right there.
I had Texas also. I also had the outside chance of going to San Diego
Mm.
because they're going to need pick. They're losing Clevenger, and I think they're going to pick someone up. All right. So Judge's best friend Anthony Rizzo. Alex, where do you think he's going?
Stays. He'll stay. They're going to extend his contract up. Yeah, he's going to stay because I see him. Even though yes, if Judge says he is the captain, I see Rizzo more as the player coach that we need, and from what I saw even throughout the regular season, even when he wasn't producing in the middle portion of the season, he was still out there being as much of a infield leader and also as a coach for the whole team and a general for the whole team. So yeah, I don't see him going away.
Danny?
Yeah, he's coming back. 2 years. Give him another option year, 30 mil, over the course of 2 years. So it's kind of same framework as this one.
Mm-hmm.
Dave?
I think he follows Judge wherever he goes. If Judge goes to San Fran, I could see Rizzo going to San Fran for 3 years at 54 million. I really think it's going to depend on where Judge ends up, whether or not Rizzo comes back or not. Because the two of them are boys, so you know.
I don't see that. If he doesn't come back to us, he might just say F it and go down to like Miami.
He's from the area.
Exactly.
He's a Broward boy.
Mm-hmm,
I was going down the road with Dave. I said he's either staying with the Yankees or he's going to San Fran. One of the two. Because I've also heard the rumors where San Fran, their idea is to get Judge and then quickly pounce and get Rizzo to go out there to kind of pay, take him as a package deal to bring him over. So I think those are his two options. I think, although he does love being in New York, he's got family in the area, so I think that being in New York is good enough for him. He's staying on the East Coast, so it's a lot of. I think it's Yankee. I think he opts out, and Yankees give him what he was 2 years at 16 mil a year. I think does another 2-year deal at 20 mil a year. Gets the increase.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone's favorite Benny Blanco. I'll go Dave first. You know what? I'll take the first one. I've been going last. I think it's between 3 teams. I think he goes back to the Cubs. Or sorry, not goes back. I think he goes to the Cubs. I think he could stay here under the right deal. I have but the sneaky team I think that's going to make a play for him would be the Astros.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like the Astros because they do have a glaring hole in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
I would love Benny Blanco back, but under the right terms.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's got to be a 3-year deal. That's the max.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years, and it's got to be like 15 to 20 in that range for the Yankees to go after him. I wouldn't. How about a team like the Angels? They're ones to spend money. They're always looking for offense.
Now with the team being sold.
Yeah. That was going to be my thing.
But they're not selling.
They're exploring.
Though, right?
They're exploring the sale.
They're exploring.
Yeah, they're exploring. Yeah.
Well, they can't. They're not adding on a lot of contract if they're going to. If you're looking
to explore, yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Go for it, Dave.
I could see the Yankees bringing him back for 3 years at 27 million. I don't know I don't know what they're gonna do. They gave up 3 Rule 5 guys to get him, I don't see the Yankees quite parting ways with him just yet because of what they gave. They gave up 3 prospects to give him. I don't really see them just saying, he broke his hand, let him just walk out the door kind of thing. And it also all depends on whether or not they're able to move Aaron Hicks this offseason, I think, is the real driving force behind whether or not Benintendi stays with the Yankees or not.
I will definitely have to disagree with you on that one, Dave. What's going to be the floodgate basically is they're going to have to wait on what judges, and I don't see Benny going to wait on what judge's decision is, and the Yankees are going to have to wait for a judge's decision. So I think he might sign with either the Guardians or the Cardinals,
or maybe he goes back to where he came from, Beantown.
You can't.
Here, I got an offbeat one that I've been thinking about when I think of Benny Blanco. Who do you think the Yankees go for first, Benny Blanco or Nimmo? Alex.
Oh God.
I hate both the options. Memo.
Danny.
They got the same profile, but we've seen Benny, so I think we go after Benny first.
Dave.
I don't know what's up with the Yankees' love affair for Brandon Nimmo. I don't understand it. I don't think they do.
He's good.
He's good. He's got more pop in the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
on base machine.
Yeah, I think he's a better player than Benny Blanco. I think that if the numbers are right, then they go. If the numbers are comparable, they're going to go Nimmo. I think that they'll make that move, and brings in another left-handed bat, and he's just not a slap hitter anymore. Now it's someone who's an on-base machine and with power.
And he could play center and left.
Benintendi's younger though. And on the sides of age.
Is he?
That's a baseball reference.
Yeah, Benintendi's only like 27, 28.
Yeah, so is it Nimmo around that age?
I'll let you look that
fact
up.
Check.
Dan, you fact check that one. We're moving on.
Move on.
We're gonna go to one of Alex's favorite guys, Mr. Marwin Gonzalez.
Oh. He's he decides to go to an island, starts having his own little plantation, stays away from everybody for the world. No, he's not going to be a Yankee, that's for sure. He'll probably go Kansas City.
That's what I said too. I said I've all mine written down. By the way, I said I think he's going
here, buddy.
I said Kansas City or he retires.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave, what about you?
I don't know, man. Roll the dice.
Wait. Mark, that just hit me, Mark. That just hit me. You basically had the same thing as me, but mine is he's in an island with a little plantation, and we're doing some like a banana field. He's selling Chiquita bananas.
Here. I don't know, but
it doesn't even look like you care too much.
Whoever needs him, all I know is he's a free agent, and he can go to wherever someone is requiring an underperforming utility player that bats .214.
Arizona.
So he's going to the Rays, and they're going to fix him, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's a free agent. Bye.
Oh,
how he survived the whole season, I don't know.
Maybe he goes to Colorado for some recreational.
There you go.
At that high altitude, you never know, man. All right, Danny, what you got there? Where do you think?
He's going to go to the Cincinnati Reds on a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. That's what he's going to do.
All right. And you get the age on Nimmo?
Nimmo's 29. Benny is 28.
Oh, so they're same age, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was right.
Dave was right.
Dave was right.
Pat on the back. Pat on the back.
Golf clap.
I'll still take Nimmo over.
Yeah. 200 days is not gonna make or break things.
All right, someone that was actually a revelation this year out of the bullpen for me, at least, was Miguel Castro.
Hmm.
Who you got, Danny? Who you got for him? Where do you think he goes?
You know what? You talk about the Rays a lot, and he's kind of sort of that guy, wild. But I feel like he goes to like a AL Central team, like the White Sox, and he pitches behind, in front of like Liam Hendricks, and tries to do something good over there.
Alex is shaking his head vehemently. No.
Nah, I think it's going to be the Braves.
Okay.
I can see that one happening because just for those same reasons you just said right there, that's one of those key points that they need a wild person in there to help out to change stuff a little bit. So I can see that happening more.
Dave?
I think the Yankees bring him back on a 1-year deal.
I had him staying with the Yankees too.
Yeah.
And then the final one we got here is good old Matt Carpenter, who I say heads back out to none other than St. Louis.
Mm,
They got the DH open over there.
yeah.
They got Albert Pujols is no longer there. Yachty's no longer there. I think he goes for his final tour with them. That's it. That's what I think. The send off.
I could see that happening. I could also see him staying as well because his swing in Yankee Stadium is it's more suited for Yankee Stadium than it is for St. Louis, in my opinion.
100%. I have a hard time seeing the Yankees giving Matt Carpenter a guaranteed year.
Yes.
That's my dilemma. I think
That's true.
he did enough to get a minor league invite, but I also think they respect him a lot as a veteran and that left-handed bat. So I'm gonna say a 1-year guaranteed deal, $3 million, heavy incentives, plate appearances, games, homers, stuff like that.
What you got, Dave?
I see him going back to St. Louis. I don't see them giving him a deal. He's going to be 39 this year. I just don't see it happening in New York. We're trying to improve, not stay where we're at. But then again, we don't know what this front office is going to do because they have already said that IKF is going to be the starting shortstop for 2023. So
They didn't.
They didn't say
Baker.
that.
No. They didn't say that he was going to be. They said that they could envision that there's the possibility of that. But that's also, like you said before, that's to build up the trade value.
So what
they have to say
code? That's code for he's going to be the starting shortstop.
No, that's code for that. They're trying to freaking get him to be
obviously.
traded, and they're trying to make everybody in the world be like, "I want to get him in my team." Trade bait. What do you not know about that, Dave? Were you the kid that kept all your toys and didn't want to trade? Did you not trade baseball cards or comic books as a kid? Gosh,
No,
trade bait.
I
It's like,
didn't.
oh, look, I got this pristine card that you want. I know this card is worth 10 cents. He's gonna give me a card worth $2. Come on.
Well, speaking of other people, Daniel Barry from Sports Highlights, he says, "Yo, right back at you, brother."
I salute you.
Salutations.
So I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Want to thank everyone for chiming in, for watching, listening from here, from the podcast all over the world. Thank you guys very much. For our producer, Manny, for Danny, for Alex, for David, it's Mark. See you next time. Out.
Good night.
Adios.